Welcome to the Chapters and Chat Book Club. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Francesca, and we're two sisters that love reading, but our book styles are quite different.
So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's turn some pages together.
Yay!
So this video today is going to be our what we read in the month of March, as well as our April TBR video.
Yes, and as always, let's start off with the drink we're having.
Yes.
So today we are having the pineapple and passion fruit sparkling spring water from Marks and Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had this before. They have different tastes, not tastes, flavors. Cheers!
Okay, so I guess I can start with the books that I read last month. So starting with the book club picks, which were Daisy Jones and The Six and Never Lie. So I'll start with Daisy Jones. So this is a historic lit-fic, I wouldn't say it's a romance, it's not really, by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It follows Daisy, who essentially joins a band in the 70s, a rock band, and it follows the journey of that band from kind of the start of them getting popular all the way to the end and all the drama in between. And I really, really enjoyed this book. So I've heard a lot about this book. You know, it's very well hyped, very loved, and I could see why. The synopsis itself is not that interesting. When I first heard it, I didn't think I would necessarily love this, but I really enjoyed my read of this. It's a very interesting read. It was very captivating, all the characters. It's a very character-led type of book. So if you're interested in those, this one is definitely one of those. So I ended up rating this really high. I ended up rating it 4.5. Just not a 5-star because it didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but otherwise I think this is a book that I'm going to be continuously thinking about in the future. Did you want to give your thoughts as well since you read it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this book as well, and I agree that about the synopsis, but that was also the case with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I also loved as a book. Yeah. But when you read the synopsis, you're like, that sounds a bit weird. But I really enjoyed this book. I listened to it and it was a very easy listen. It's actually a nice book to listen because it's in this interview format. And I ended up giving 4 stars.
The next book club book was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. It's a psychological thriller that follows a couple that gets stranded in a house that used to be owned by this very successful psychiatrist. And the main lady in the book, she starts finding the recordings of that psychiatrist with her patients, and it kind of follows from there. And obviously it's a thriller, so things go down. And this one I rated 3.75. So again, this is a very hyped book, and I could see why, because it's a very, very fun read. I flew through this book. It was very entertaining all the way up until the last portion of the book, where we kind of start figuring out what's happened. It was very, very entertaining. However, I was disappointed with the ending of the book. If you want to hear more about our thoughts on the ending, what happens, you know, that part of it, we discussed that in full detail in the book club video that we posted last week. So our thoughts for this and Daisy Jones are more in depth there. So yeah, it's entertaining, but I was a bit disappointed at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a very fast-paced book. It was very easy to read. It was very entertaining. I really wanted to find out what's going on, and the suspense was definitely building throughout this book, like very intensely. But I also was very disappointed with the ending.
Yeah.
And yeah, more on our thoughts in our book club video, but I ended up giving this a 3.5. I was not happy.
We have a full rant in that book club video.
Yeah.
So if you've read it, because please don't go watch it if you haven't, because we spoil it, but we do go into a full rant.
Yes.
Yeah. The next book I read is Death at High Tide by Hannah Dennison. This is a cozy mystery. It follows sisters who end up going to this island off the coast of the UK, and they end up getting involved in a murder investigation as kind of the main suspects of that murder. And the vibes of this book are very cozy, hence obviously the genre of the book. I gave it a 4-star because I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. I just needed one of those types of books where you feel very cozy. The setting, you know, it was raining there, it was misty, all the characters are very quirky and funny, and it was just like a funny read overall. But then you have the little mystery going on that keeps you interested. It's a very easy read, very just, you know, nothing, not a masterpiece necessarily when it comes to the plot, but I really enjoy cozy mysteries, so I really liked it. And I'm thinking of picking up the second one of this. It's part of the Island Sisters mystery series. So, and I know there's a second one out already, so I'm hoping to buy that as well. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And then the last book that I read is The Memory Keeper by Jenny Hale. So this is also, I would say, like a cozy kind of small town romance slash maybe lit fic. It follows a woman that ends up going back to her hometown. Her grandmother is sick and she's going there to visit the grandmother and also to help with the grandmother's shop. The grandmother runs this flower bouquet shop called The Memory Keeper, and it was actually such a lovely story. I ended up tabbing and highlighting some of the quotes because it has some really deep quotes about life, especially whenever the grandmother would speak and she would kind of give advice, life advice and things like that. And a lot of them actually touched me a lot, and it has a lot to do with finding your purpose in life and for it to be okay to not know your purpose, and also talks a lot about how important it is to create memories with your loved ones. And it was just a very lovely read. It has a romance plot, but that was secondary to kind of the other stuff going on. So it was a very, very just feel good read, very happy story, let's say. So I gave it a 4.5 as well, mainly because there was a small portion in the middle that was a bit slow, so at that point I was kind of having a harder time picking it up, but otherwise I really, really recommend it.
Okay, so my turn. So I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is just a little cute romance in a little like small town, and it follows these two writers who are experiencing writer's block, and then they end up switching like their genre, because one is writing like these cute little romance books and the other is writing these more cynical, just like real life stories. And yeah, it was a very cute read. I've read so far 4 of Emily Henry's books, and I really loved Funny Story. But then Happy Place and Book Lovers I didn't love as much. They were a bit more boring to me. This was closer to Funny Story. I enjoyed because it was a bit more romance led. So I actually gave this 4 stars because I enjoyed it more.
So far, Funny Story is your number one.
Yeah, Funny Story is my number one, which is funny because it's not Amanda's.
It's
number
my
one.
least. It's my worst rated.
Then I read The Spark of the Everflame, or Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. It's the first book in the Kindred Skirts Curse saga, and I had heard so many good things about this book, and indeed it was amazing. I really liked it. I think nothing too major happened in the first book. It was more of an explanation of the magic system and the world, and it basically follows, there are like mortals and then there are the immortals. So, and basically the immortals are rich and they are the ones who rule the world, and then the mortals on the other hand, they are kind of like discriminated upon. And it follows this mortal girl who is a healer, and she ends up healing many people from the royal family, and her, like, she gets tangled up with the rebels, with the mortals, and it's a very, like, nothing major happened in this book yet, but it was like a groundwork for the rest of the series, I think. And there is going to be some romance, I think, as well, but it's very slow burn, and I enjoy a good slow burn romance. So yes, I really enjoyed the book, and I gave it 4 stars. Then I had said that I will read Kingdom of Ash, and I am only halfway through this book. It's like 1,000 pages, okay? And I didn't end up having the time to read it because I'm reading it physically, and that's always way slower. So far, I am absolutely loving this book. I'm so sad I'm not ready to say goodbye to the series. I think that's why I've also been kind of stalling reading this, because I want to take it super slow and stay in this world for as long as possible. But yeah, so far I'm obsessed with this book. I cannot wait to find out what's gonna happen. I cannot wait to see just the main characters crushing the enemy. I'm very invested.
There's passion on your face there.
Yes, I want so many things to happen in this book. But yeah, I'm very excited. I want to find out what's gonna happen in this book, but I'm also not ready for the hangover that's surely coming after. So yeah, I'm gonna be giving the rating for this book probably in the next TBR video, since I still have halfway to go. And then finally I finished Onyx Storm. It took me 2 months. And I have some thoughts about this book. So I already mentioned in our previous TBR video that I was a bit disappointed with most of Iron Flame, and then also the first half of this book. After the first half of this book, it started getting a little bit better. There was something a bit different, and like a section that was a bit nicer than the rest of the book, but then it went back to not being that enjoyable for me again. And I think the main issue for me is that there are too many characters in this book to keep up with. I get that kind of makes it more realistic, and it's meant to make the world more like imaginable, I guess, but there are too many characters, too many side characters, to the point that I don't care about these side characters. I don't care about who they are, what happens to them, who is in love with who. I don't remember their names. I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember whose dragon belongs to who. Because then, not only do we have to remember all the side characters, but we also need to remember what dragons each person has. It's just too much, and it's not the type of reading I enjoy. I want my reading to be easy. I do like a more complex magic system or politics and all of that, but I like there to be balance. I want there to be balance between cute moments between the characters, politics, love story, all of that. I want a little bit of everything. This book was mainly based on fighting and politics. But there was too much. Like, wherever this group of people would go, there would be the same fight every single time, which ended up being quite boring and predictable. Also, the love story was just not deep enough for me. I feel like the love in this book is more about physical appearance than actually going into deep conversations or having those cute moments where you think like, oh, they really like go well together. So I have some beef with this book. I didn't enjoy it as much. I think Fourth Wing was the highest point for me when it comes to the series, and sadly after that it has been downhill for me. So I did give this a 3.5 stars. So that was all for my reads in March.
So let's get into the TBR. Alright, so starting off again with the book club picks for this month. The first one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. That was picked by Francesca, and we'll both be reading this obviously. This one is a YA fantasy. I believe it follows two sisters. One of them goes missing. I think she's part of some...
She's kidnapped.
She's kidnapped during some dangerous magical carnival game, something like this. So I guess we follow the other sister trying to find her. And you said it's a romance as well?
It's also a romance, yeah, I think.
Okay, so excited. This is in the same universe as... Not the same universe.
Yeah, it's in the same.
It's in the same.
In the same world.
In the same world as the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I read this year as well and really enjoyed. So excited to go back in there, and kind of find out. This happens before the events of that. Yeah. So, yeah, excited for that. The next book club pick we're both reading is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This is a psychological thriller. This book follows the main woman, Alex, and she's a podcaster, and she meets this mysterious woman that they're birthday twins, I guess, and that woman persuades her to feature her on the podcast. But I guess during the interviews, small details start coming out where it seems that this woman is not who she says she is and she's dangerous and things like that. It has a podcast element as well, I think, which will be fun. I think I'm going to be listening to this one. And yeah, we'll be discussing this in the next book club video. Then continuing with the cozy mystery vibes, because I'm feeling those at this time of year, I'll be reading Murder at the Blueberry Festival by Darcy Hannah. First of all, can you see this cover?
What a cute name.
It's so cute.
Oh, the dog.
And what I love is that there's all these blueberry recipes. The blueberry pie, blueberry delight, blueberry lemon bread.
I love when they do
at the end. I love that. I'm kind of
Yeah.
contemplating on baking something from this and then eating that while I read it.
Can I come over for that?
Yeah, I think it's probably a pretty straightforward murder mystery. It's somebody dies during the Blueberry Festival and the main woman is going to be somehow entangled in that. It's part of the Beacon Bake Shop mystery series. I have read one other book, the Christmas book from this series. I think it's the one, The Murder at the Christmas Cookie Shop, something like that, and I really enjoyed it. It's just a cozy mystery, you know, they're all kind of the same formula, but it really hits a specific spot for me that I just enjoy making my iced tea, sitting on the swing outside and reading these. It's just like a fun read. So yeah, we'll be probably picking this up. Then the next book I have is Bookshops and Bone Dust, which I had on my last month's TBR, but I didn't get to read it this month, so I hope to pick it up now this time around. It's a cozy fantasy and it's a prequel to Legends and Lattes. It follows the same main protagonist, Viv, who is needing to recuperate after some battles. I think she's injured maybe, and she finds herself in this sleepy town and she starts spending time at the local library there, and it's probably just going to be a very cozy read about her meeting the library people and things like that, with the fantasy element as well. And lastly, I'll be picking up Empty Smiles by Catherine Arden. This is the final book in the Small Spaces series that she has. It's a middle grade horror series. I've really enjoyed the previous books. They feel very nostalgic to me. I used to be a big R.L. Stein reader. I loved his books when I was younger, and these ones remind me of that. It follows a friend group from middle school that they keep getting into kind of these scary situations with these scary creatures. This one, I believe they go into some sort of carnival and there's probably some scary clown, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just a fun little read, it's not too scary, but it's scary enough to kind of keep you interested, and then it's always, you know, good defeating evil. I like those stories, so yeah, I'm looking to probably read this as well.
So I'll obviously be reading also Caraval and None of This Is True, which ones Amanda already mentioned. Then I'm also going to be reading Glow of the Everflame by Evan Cole, which is the second book in the Kindred Scare saga, and I'm excited about that to find out what's gonna happen, because the previous book, like, it kind of had a cliffhanger at the end. Then I'm gonna be finishing Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. And then last but not least, I'm gonna read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which is a Crown of Nyaxia novel. I don't know if I said that right. And it's the first book in the first duology, and it's a story about vampires and humans. It's a fantasy. I think it's a romance. It has this like deadly trial game thing that a human will attend with all the vampires, and I've heard so many good things about this book and in general about this series, so I think I'll probably enjoy this very much.
Nice.
So yeah, I decided to get into it finally, because I've had this book for a few months now in my, well, since Christmas, I guess. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. A lot of fantasy for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a month of fantasy.
Yeah.
Definitely. If I have the time, I will also read the Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter, but I will see time-wise if I can do that. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe or like the video, or if you read any of these books, let us know your thoughts without spoilers if it's, you know, one of the books that we haven't read yet.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.